Are you ready to cross the threshold and accept the sacred sacrifice? The process of awakening, especially at the beginning, the initiation, is not an experience of great enlightenment with feelings of oneness, love, and bliss. It's not merely getting red-pilled about the world's conspiracies and psyops on an external informational level. That's just the first baby step and can become a distraction itself, or worse, getting black-pilled, stuck in paranoia, doom, and gloom, if the awakening impulse to awaken is not followed up by the inner work. Yes, the initial awakening impulse may have aspects of a positive experience at first for some, but ultimately, if you don't fall into the trap of spiritual bypassing, it is a shamanic descent into hell, battling with demons within and without, and your own thought creations based on shadow projections and all kinds of unconscious drives. It brings up everything that is not in alignment with truth. Not what the limited monkey ego mind considers as truth in its oversimplified black and white thinking and tendency to externalize all evil, but anything within the seeker that stands in the way of realizing the true self and embodying the divine force. It is law, and it is necessary. Hence, as Sri Aurobindo and many other enlightened beings said throughout the ages, metaphorically speaking, no one can reach heaven who has not passed through hell. In other words, a true impulse towards awakening brings up everything, our wounds, blind spots, traumas, shadow, the lies we've been telling ourselves, our hypocrisy and lower nature addictions and weaknesses, which we previously have indulged in or suppressed, avoided or justified, projected on others, externalized and rationalized away, all of which the hyperdimensional occult hostile forces target, tempt us with, and heighten for us to confront. If we can recognize their teaching function and hold the tension of opposites within us, we can transmute it all in the alchemical fire within, to help bring forth this psychic being, our soul essence within, and to be reborn in our true self. Likewise, as our eyes and perceptions are cleansed through this initiation and consecutive initiations, and ongoing internal work, we will see more and more evil in the world as the darkness is coming out of the shadows where it was lurking behind appearances. If you're truly sincere, you will also see the darkness and potential for evil within you as you stop projecting it all externally. It's a humbling experience. Nothing is hidden anymore. All is revealed. Nothing can be unseen, and there's no turning back to the old self and the old world. It's a widening on all levels, an ascent and descent at the same time. As Satprem noted, the more light the seeker possesses, the more darkness he uncovers. You can only rise as high as you're able and willing to go into the depth of your own darkness and shine light into it, which means making it conscious. Hence, as Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. We then realized that nothing was hidden all along, but that we were living in a dream world, dreaming to be awake. This is the first step, symbolized in the film The Matrix, when Neo first wakes up in the real world, unplugs his tubes and sees fields of humans plugged into the Matrix in their dream state as the machines are feeding off of them, harvesting them for their energy and life force. This scene is a very apt analogy for the hyperdimensional matrix acting on humans outside their five-sensory perception. Neo came face to face with what Gurdjieff called the horror of the situation. It is the first necessary shock for the seeker out of many more to come. These shocks are tests that not many people pass, as they try to go back to the old life and old self, unable to let go, or they fall into the trap of spiritual bypassing, taking on a spiritual or religious identity, or they get lost in the mental realm and rabbit hole labyrinth of conspiracies due to lack of inner work. At the same time, the more we make the darkness conscious, expose and reveal all within ourselves and in the world, the more light and true love we can access, see, and anchor within ourselves and in the world, the more creative power, free will, and true freedom we can access as well. But this free will is not our own very limited egoic will anymore, that lives under the illusion of independence and is attached to desires. It's a higher level of being in alignment with divine will, our higher self, which acts as a transducer for divine will. Once we tap into that infinite, all-powerful force and surrender to the divine, we will have the most powerful effect on the world, guided by the divine as his faithful servant through every battle and hardship in the ongoing work to spiritualize our being and the world, transmuting lead, ego consciousness, into gold, spirit. until you see the divine in all, not as a philosophical insight, but via direct inner experience. This is the great awakening we are called to, the great adventure we are currently embarking on during this time of transition. Many of us came here purposely to be part of it, to engage in it and assist others. But this journey is not a walk in the park. It's a long journey. There are many traps, detours, pitfalls, and temptations steering the seeker away from his mission. Nor is everyone ready for it until a future incarnation cycle when the soul is ripe enough to answer the call and engage in the great work. The inner call is the measure. Sincerity, integrity, surrender to the divine, and an unconditional sincere yearning for truth, whatever it may turn out to be, are the keys to the kingdom of God within. The doors are shut to anyone else who does not pay with him or herself, for nothing is free in the entire universe. Many ancient esoteric parables ask this question with many tests to pass through to see if the seeker is earnest and sincere. Are you ready to cross the threshold and accept the sacred sacrifice? What is this sacred sacrifice? To give yourself entirely to the divine, to surrender to God's will. This is easier said than done, for the battle is always behind the veil and within you, with all kinds of forces vectoring you away from who you truly are. But as Sri Aurobindo conveyed, for the soul that wholly gives itself to the divine, God also gives himself altogether. Only the one who offers his whole nature finds the self. Only the one who can give everything enjoys the divine all everywhere. Only a supreme self-abandonment attains to the supreme. Only the sublimation by sacrifice of all that we are can enable us to embody the highest and live here in the immanent consciousness of the transcendent spirit.